Konnichiwa, konbanwa, ohayo gozaimasu. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Khan, and welcome to episode 121 of Good or Garbage, the number one place where you can find out what stuff is being sold in a division on a weekly basis. And to switch things up a little bit this week, because this weapon and none of the weapons in DZ 3 are in the 280 gear score, I really did want to bring some attention to this, so I'm putting this at the head of the video. There's an LVOAC being sold this week with 20% enemy armor damage, coming in with responsive, dominant, and determined in the third slot. Now, determined in the third slot is really useful for PvE players. PvP players may still find some use for this, for getting their super back, especially if they're running in a team, so don't sleep on this. Having one of these in your loadout could make a very big difference with getting your supers back and stuff like that, so definitely go and check that out. You could always roll off dominant and put whatever you want. Responsive is always a good thing to have for either PvE or PvP, especially for PvP. So if you guys need to check this out, it will cost you some division tech to level this thing up, just because it is under 280, and you know, usually I separate things by 280 plus, but I did not want to just throw this in the heads up section. I wanted to give this to you guys just so that you know and that you don't miss, because a lot of the other stuff that's being sold this week is straight poopy doop, but this one is not that bad, and with a little bit of love and care, some division tech and re-rolls, this could be a very strong weapon for a lot of people. So definitely don't sleep on this. Go check it out. Enjoy the rest of the video. Holla at me, let me know what you pick up this week, and let's get started with this week's Good or Garbage. All right, now let's move on to the attachments for this week. At West 46th Street, we have a gem this week. Pretty happy to talk about this one. We've got an extended magazine for sale with 121% magazine size. Woo! We've also got 4% critical hit damage, and it also comes with 4.5% reload speed. Now, while you might be saying, well, what do I need reload speed for? This would be awesome for any of those SMGs. If you're not running, rate of fire increase, then you could run this one with reload speed and get your reloads right back. That critical hit chance, you probably won't need it as much as somebody with an AR, just because you already have your critical hit chance baked in, probably over 20% if you're doing it right, and then having all of those extra bullets, having that crit damage, and being able to reload faster with you know, SMGs having pretty quick reload speeds as is. This should get you right back into the fight even faster. So if you are looking for something like this, or if you want to test this out to see what your DPS would be like, then you could definitely go ahead and check this out at West 46th Street. At the Grindhouse this week, we have an SR7 Suppressor, this one with 18% critical hit damage, 2.5% stability, and 6% headshot damage, with a little bonus of 42% reduced threat. Now, while this does not have critical hit chance, which would have made this really good, the critical hit damage is still at 18%, and you do get a nice little 6% headshot damage. So if you can land your headshots, that will help out quite a bit. The reduced threat, I would like to see closer to 50%, just so that the NPCs aren't targeting you as much. This is especially good if you're running one of these and someone else is running a loud vent break. The NPCs will target them more often than not, so that could really help you out in a pinch. But if this is what you're looking for, then head on over to the Grindhouse and pick them up. At East 40th Street, we have an extended magazine for sale this week with 109.5% magazine size, 3% critical hit chance, and 4.8% increased rate of fire. So if you're looking for a rate of fire, there are better options out there. Of course, the magazine size could be better as well, but if you are looking for this and you just want to test it out, or if you're desperate to find one, maybe because you already have something with a better mag on it and you just want to match it kind of, then I guess you could go over to East 40th Street and try and pick one of these up. East 42nd Street has a heavy magazine spring this week with 3% critical hit chance, 4% critical hit damage, and 10.6% rate of fire. If you're looking to use one of these on one of the weapons that have a native large magazine, then you can definitely pick this up and chew through those bullets extra fast. At the weapons vendor in the base of operations, we have a loud vent break this week with 18% critical hit damage, 2.5% stability, 5.5% headshot damage, and 48% increased threat. If you've been looking for some kind of crit damage loud vent break, this is not the god roll, but it will help you out if you have nothing better. So if you need this, head on over to the base of operations and pick this up for regular credits. At Kerman Station this week, we have a VX1 12x scope. These things are a bit rare, which is why I'm kind of calling it out, even though it is not that great. The main reason why it's not that great is because it's only 17% headshot damage. These things get up to, I believe, 18.5 or so. So having 1.5% less than the max is quite a bit of a drop, but still you do have 3% critical hit chance and 4% critical hit damage. So if you're not running this with a totally maxed out headshot type build, but you still want that crit chance and crit damage, or maybe you're running crit somewhere in your build, this may still not be the best scope for you. There are better crit damage scopes, but if you are trying to get some headshot damage, but you just don't have these to drop, because like I said, they are a bit rare, then you can go ahead and check this out and then hold on to it until you find something better. To all of the snipers out there looking for those 12x scope, good luck to you. These things are very hard to find. They haven't been dropping that often, so good luck in finding those. If I see anything better, I will definitely shout it out. East 34th Street, we have a Ti-Rant suppressor this week with 6.5% critical hit chance, 4% critical hit damage, 5.5% headshot damage, and 44% reduced threat. If you're looking for something like this, you can definitely go over to East 34th and check it out. This does usually come with, well, not usually, but the high gold standard would be 7.5% critical hit chance, which I recommend. Getting that 4% critical hit damage, and then if you can have some headshot damage, that is also very nice. 6% would be great, and then as much reduced threat as possible would be perfect. But this is what it is. If you're looking for something to place hold, then you can go ahead and check this out, but if not, you can always pass. In DZ9, for the people having a little bit of trouble dealing with the recoil on their weapon, there is a muzzle brake for sale with 13.5% stability, 4% critical hit damage, and 6% headshot damage. Now, I highly recommend to console players who are struggling to get their weapons under control to give this a look. You may need to tweak some of the settings in, your sticks and all of that stuff, but there are times where, just the lag or the latency or the desync or whatever just kicks in and your gun just goes all over the place, and it's not really your fault. But there are times where, you could use a little bit more stability to help yourself out. Now, if you go over to DZ9, you can get this. This will also give you the crit damage. It'll give you the headshot damage. You won't get the critical hit chance, but more stability that would help you with landing your shots is always better than getting a little bit more critical hit chance. So if you are really struggling, go over to DZ9 and check this out. Now let's go take a look at this week's gear mods. This week at Camp Clinton, we have a prototype performance mod with 6% support station range. Now, for those reclaimers out there, having extra support station range can really help out, especially if you're throwing a box down and you want all of your teammates to get it in some PvE or even the PvP content. So this could really help out if you need it. Although I'm not sure 6% is the max. I don't really remember. This was not really my thing. Cracker Jacks was always the healer for us, so this was not really my forte, but 6% is still better than nothing, and I guess if you stack a whole bunch of these, it's still pretty good. If you remember what the max for the support station range was, let me know in the comment section, because I totally forgot. But yeah, still go ahead and pick this up. It will cost you some some Phoenix credits, so be careful about that. And just as a little bit of a heads up, there are a lot of weapons and stuff being sold in Camp Clinton, so look in the heads up section. The gear score is not that great for a lot of these weapons, but the talents on them are not bad at all. Just giving you guys a shout out. Check that out in the heads up section down below in the description. At the firewall this week, we have another purple mod, this one being the electronics mod with 188 electronics and 3% damage to elites. Again, not a 4%er, but this one rolls electronics instead of stam, so if you need electronics, go for that one. Also at firewall, we have a prototype performance mod with 6% first aid self heal. So if you've been looking for something like this, need a little bit of extra self heal, if you're lone wolfing it, then you can go ahead over to the firewall and check it out. At West 31st Street, there's a performance mod being sold with 4% turret damage. If you've been trying to get something for your turrets and you want a little bit more damage, go over to West 31st Street and pick up a few of these. At East 64th Street at the Dark Zone, we have a prototype electronics mod being sold. This one with 263 electronics and 3% skill haste. So this could work out for you electronics builds out there, having an extra bit of skill haste, plus also having quite a nice little stack of electronics. Remember that the mods max go out to 267, so this is not the ultimate mod, but it is still pretty good. If you need one of these, head over to East 64th Street and check it out. This week, as promised in Dante's Run, we have a prototype stamina mod being sold purple with 211 stamina and 3% damage to elites. Now, while we're still waiting for that amazing 4% damage to elites, this still has 211 stamina, which isn't bad. Now, while that isn't the main key factor while you would either buy one of these things, it's still not that bad. So if you are looking for a stamina damage to elites mod and you're still waiting out for that 4%er, then you can go over to Dante's Run and check one of these out. West 42nd Street this week has a prototype stamina mod with 262 stamina and a whopping 2% all resistance. One of my least favorite major attributes on any kind of mod. I absolutely hate this major attribute. If you need this for any kind of stamina, I guess, buff, if you need stamina for something and you're desperate, you just don't have any way of getting anything else, then go ahead and pass on this. This is stupid. Don't pick up these all resistance mods. Don't do it. Yeah, just don't. At Madison Stand this week, we have a prototype Firearms mod. This one coming in with a very nice 264 firearms. We do get up to 267 for the max, so do keep that in mind. And this comes in with 3% signature ability resource gain. Now, while signature resource gain is not really the cream of the crop when it comes down to it, if you are banking on using your super more and more, or if you are more of a support kind of player, this could work out for you. Just depends on what it is you're trying to do with your build. But if you are looking for something like this, or you want that high firearms, then head on over to Madison Stand and go cop a couple. Alright guys, that is it for episode 121 of Good or Garbage. I hope you found this useful. I know that surprisingly, actually, while I was making this, I found out that there were no weapons really that made it into the 280 gear score natively that were worth your time. So yeah, there's still some 280 stuff, 280 plus stuff in the heads up section, but I didn't really think that the talents synergize that well together, so I didn't want to make a big stink about it. But there are still some very good weapons in the heads up section that do have good talents, and I highly implore you to go and check it out. There's a typhoon on the way coming to Japan, so it's time for me to buckle down, close all the doors, and hide out. I'll see you guys in the live stream. Take it easy. I'm out of here. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you. Peace.